Scrappy Peeps, Suzanna here today for ThermOWeb, and I'm sharing with you a Halloween layout that I created using Glitz glitter gel and some flock transfer sheets. There are some perfect colors. That is a close-up of the layout that I created there. Some perfect colors in the collection for Halloween. So I sprayed my Pixie spray on the back of the stencil, and I let it dry for 2 minutes. I didn't actually do it on camera because I actually do it over my garbage can so it doesn't create a sticky mess on my work surface, but I wanted to let you know that that's what I did, and that's how I'm able to get the stick of that stencil so that it doesn't slide, especially with the fine detail of these spooky eyes. And I am using Wild Lilac Glitz glitter gel and my stencil buddy to apply the Glitz glitter gel to the openings in the stencil and get a nice smooth application to this. And I love that my stencil doesn't slide, and I love this big applicator for this 6x6. I do sometimes go over the edge, as you'll see that I do, and I'm just going to use a Vicky Bouton little metal spatula right there to just scrape up the extra, and it cleans up perfectly. So no slide, and there is a perfect application of glitter there. So perfect for that sort of Halloween spooky eyes background. So I've set that aside to dry, and now I want to back the eyes and the mouth of this jack-o'-lantern that's on this digital die cut. So I want to back it with orange, and so I'm just going to add a little bit of sparkle to that to give you the effect of the candle glowing behind the jack-o'-lantern using some sweet mango glitz as well. So I'm going to actually just use the glue in the glitter gel there to just stick that literally to the back of it. Now, I'm not a very patient person, so I am going to keep working. They both dry. The glitter gels, if you don't put too thick of an application, dry pretty quickly. And I know that I'm not going to work directly on it just yet, so I am going to keep working. I'm using my Gina adhesive to just glue. If you watch my videos, you know that I go back and forth between the two adhesives. If I'm doing fine detail work, I love the liquid adhesive, the Ultra Bond. Otherwise, I use my Gina permanent adhesive dot roller. So I'm going to use that to apply some purple behind the photo just for some more color and to make the photo pop. And that is really the bulk of the background of the layout. Now I want to create some more embellishments. So I have here 3 colors of foam, but I want to do some pumpkins. So I am going to use the orange glow, and then I'm going to do the reverse of that big pumpkin in the die cut there. And I'm going to use the orange for the pumpkin, and then just some black cardstock for the background. I like my dimension on my layouts, and so I am going to put the flock transfer sheet on top of some white foam adhesive and just run that with my die through my die cut machine. Dead easy, and there is adhesive on the back of that, so I don't need to put any adhesive, which is perfect. I'm going to create 2 of those pumpkins, and then I'm just going to use the remainder of the some black cardstock behind it, just kind of cut a random shape there that fits to show the black behind that jack-o'-lantern or pumpkin or whatever you want to call it. And now the die comes with a little green stem, and so I'm just going to put a little bit of green on some foam as well and create that little green stem. It is hard to see because it's kind of tone on tone, the green on the green of the patterned cardstock. It's a tone-on-tone cardstock, but I still like that little detail that's there, and so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to create 2 of those pumpkins. So between the 2 orange and then the black one, you have that visual triangle that I like for design. So I also want to put some ghosts on this, and I'm going to use another die with just some vellum. The die is a little bit, this is actually a 12-inch long die. This is only 11-inch long vellum, and so I'm just going to slide it down my plate and just cut what I have available to me because I know I'm not going to use that full strip. I'm going to cut them apart. I'm doing a lot of cutting apart in this particular video. So now I have a lot of the pieces that I want to use. I love that the colors coordinate between this collection from Echo Park and my ThermOWeb goodies here. I love these pumpkins, the jack-o'-lanterns. They're perfect for this page, with that little glitter of the glow in the eyes in the pumpkin and then the spooky eyes behind. So I am not going to lie, and there was a lot of struggle in this video. Or I should say in the production of this page, in the making of this page. So I have 4L Studio cards there. I have that teal one to the left of the photo, and then I have the 3 that I have layered up on the right-hand side. And I think where I go wrong with this layout, in fact, I know where I go wrong with this layout, is I know I want to use, see that star die? Yep, right there. I know I want to use those stars to bring the stars from the top that's in that garland, that Halloween garland up the top there. I want to bring some stars down to the bottom of the page. But what throws me off is I've used that teal card on the left, and it's the only teal in the layout, or aqua. And so I struggle with pulling it all together. And once I get rid of that card, I am okay and I can move on. But it does take me a while to get to that. So I love the layer of these 3 cards here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use them. I do cover up a lot of the spooky eyes, but it's okay because I didn't want there to be a lot of the spooky eyes. They were always just going to be these little embellishments to the page, not a large feature on the page, because really this garland is the feature. So when I'm doing fine detail work like I just did, I love my Ultra Bond for that. It doesn't dry super quickly, and so I have plenty of time to work on large pieces like that and still have the adhesiveness and the tack to be able to get stuff down on the page. I do use a metal tip. You can buy, I think it's for like $2, you get 2 metal tips for the Ultra Bond. And I do recommend that you use a pin in them. I just use a tailor's pin, and that slides in and out easily. In fact, I've learned to do it one-handed. Single-handedly do that on my own. So I like to preserve my cards as much as I can. I actually often use them for cutting out stars and hearts and things like that. So I've just gutted the back side of the cards that you're not going to see. Again, those are from Ellie's Studio. And then I'm going to trim off that little bit that's hanging off the bottom there. So I like the cards. I like the way that it moves across the page. I like the way that you've got that balance and that visual triangle in these pumpkins. But again, that teal card, with that being the only teal there and the only teal that I planned on using, just has got to go. So you can see I've put the little green stems on each of those cards there, and I'm just trying out a couple of other bits and pieces throughout the page, and again, because of that teal that's in there, I just can't, I think I'm trying too much. So I have these ghosts that I know I want to use. What I like about the ghosts is they adds embellishment, but because it's vellum, you don't really see them, and that's the whole idea of the ghosts, right? So I'm going to use so the trick to adhering vellum, I find, is that if you use your dot roller on the background, so not on the embellishment itself, see how I'm going to put it on the background and then lightly put the embellishment on top of it, you can see it if you look in the close-ups, but when you look overall at the layout, you can't see it. So perfect way to adhere vellum using those. So now I'm going to go back to those flock transfer sheets, and I've got 3 colors, that orange glow, the same that I used for the pumpkins, and then I'm going to use green envy, which is very similar to that green background, and then purple punch, and I'm using this Tailored Expressions die. They are linked stars, but what I like about these stars is that they've got rounded edges instead of pointy edges, and so they match the rounded edges that is in that Halloween garland that I've cut in black using my silhouette up there. And so I'm going to individually cut these linked stars apart and sprinkle them throughout the page so that I'm tying that garland and the stars in the garland down through the rest of the page. It also allows me to add some more dimension throughout the page and kind of tie that whole layout together there. So more use of the flock and the foam adhesive. I really like the adhesive because it doesn't stand too tall on the page, and I like that dimension on my pages there. So I'm going to scatter a fair number of those around the page. You'll see, so they're not perfectly shaped stars, and that is okay with me. I'm okay with that because the stars on the top aren't perfectly shaped either. What you are going to not see me do on camera, because I really did struggle with this layout. This is not a typical layout for me. I tend to be working more of a grid format. After I put all those stars, I am going to use some white mist and just sprinkle that. I am also going to put in just a few of the stickers that go with the Echo Park. The pumpkins, each of those big pumpkins that you see there is going to have a pumpkin sticker next to it, and then a few other goodies sprinkled in to just tie everything together. But that is how you can get some great shimmer behind your pumpkin for those glowing eyes and mouth like the candle, and how you can get some great decorations using the flock from ThermOWeb, as well as how to use some of the adhesives for vellum and good fun stuff like that. I am going to have a blog post once the blog comes up, so you can go and check that out. It does, it's basically just a written description of everything that I've done here. If you have any questions about anything that I've used from ThermOWeb, please don't hesitate to ask them in the question box down below, and I'd be happy to get back to you. Enjoy the close-ups. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you're doing well. Take care.